Hello, and welcome to today's Here's to Your Health podcast. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Don Lintzman, and my guest on the podcast today is Samantha Pauley. Samantha is an ER nurse, an emergency room nurse here at CCMH. And Samantha, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
What we're going to talk about is Samantha was recognized earlier this year as one of 100 great Iowa nurses, and that is quite an accomplishment and a recognition, especially when you consider that not very many nurses from small hospitals or critical access hospitals were recognized this year. But before we get into that, Samantha, tell me a little bit about your background, where you went to school, anything that might have to do with your nursing degree, those kinds of things.
Okay, so I'm from here. I grew up here in Denison, Iowa. I went to college at the University of South Dakota, where I got my BSN and my RN there. And then after school, I went down to work in the city, worked in Omaha for a while, got on the travel nursing when COVID hit, and then decided, we wanted to come back to where we were from, and so we landed back here in Denison.
Is there anything at all about emergency room nursing that appeals to you over and above other kinds? Because there's you could do a lot of different kinds of things in nursing, right? You could be in the clinic, you could be public health. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do, but what about emergency medicine appeals to you?
Yeah, so I've always been kind of an adrenaline junkie. So when I worked in Omaha, I worked in cardiac, and that gave me, my fix. And I was like, what can I do, where you're still at a critical access, but you do get to see those more critical cases. And that's where I kind of found my love with emergency medicine. And there's something about helping people when they're, kind of at their worst and they're really scared. So I love being able to give people comfort in those times. So.
And I think there's a lot to be said for that, because I think emergency nursing is probably one of the tougher fields that you can be in, because there's no telling what's going to walk in the door next.
Yeah, that is very, very true. It's kind of, every day's different. And that's also another thing that I love about it. You never get the same day twice.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the 100 Great Iowa Nurses. That program was established back in 2004, and for most of its history, it was hosted by the University of Iowa. But now, in the last few years, Mary Greeley Medical Center of Ames is the one who's sponsoring that program, and the 100 Great Iowa Nurses program is really all about recognizing nurses that routinely go above and beyond every day and take that extra step to ensure safe and compassionate care for their patients. And as I noted earlier, there's only a handful of nurses from critical access hospitals in Iowa that were recognized this year. So congratulations to you for that recognition, because I think it's very well deserved.
Well, thank you. It really does mean a lot. I was shocked and humbled. This is such an awesome experience to have.
So there was actually a ceremony this year. Mm-hmm. So did you participate in that, and what was that like?
So it's actually in April.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yes.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. So I'm planning on going. Hopefully it all works out. But yeah, it's what an awesome thing to be a part of.
My name is Don Lintzman. I'm hosting today's Here's to Your Health podcast. Sam Pauley is my guest today, emergency room nurse here at CCMH, and we're talking about her selection as one of 100 great Iowa nurses. And with the ceremony for that coming up in April, which I thought that had already happened, but I'm glad that that's coming up, because maybe we'll get another opportunity to talk about that when you get back. One of the things they look at in this award, one of the criteria is about leadership and mentoring responsibilities. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about those aspects of your nursing career here at CCMH.
Yeah, so I was mentored by an awesome nurse, Deb, one of our ER nurses here, and she taught me so much about emergency medicine, because I was new to this field when I came here. I'd never worked in an ER before, and now I've had the opportunity to have nursing students and also other fellow nurses that are coming into emergency medicine. I've had the opportunity to mentor them, which has been just amazing. Even I've learned things from them, which is awesome, because you can never stop learning in this field. So that's one thing that I really love is
and the fact that somebody took the time to write a nomination for you because they saw those characteristics in you, I think is awesome. So can you share with us who actually wrote that nomination?
Yeah, so Kelby, our ER manager, he wrote the nomination, which means the absolute world to me. He is one of the best mentors anyone could learn from. He is like an encyclopedia. He knows just about everything to know, and I feel so fortunate that we get to work under such a great manager like that.
Well, and one of the things I think that really points out is that we have a lot of people within Crawford County Memorial Hospital who are really trying to help people get to their greatest possible level of success, and that is a good thing for everybody. So it certainly appears to me, Sam, that there are an awful lot of people who get nominated for this award, but not very many people get recognized. And as I said, not very many from critical access hospitals, which are hospitals that are located in rural areas and they have less than 25 beds, 25 acute beds. So it is one of those things where not only is it impressive that you actually won the award, but even more impressive that you're maybe one of only 10 nurses from critical access hospitals that were recognized as such.
Yeah, so I was honored and humbled. I can't take all the credit, though. My fellow teammates in the ER, they make it easy for me to do my job with all their support. I wouldn't be able to do it without them, so they are just as much a part of this as I am.
My guest on the podcast today is Samantha Pauley. Samantha is an ER nurse here at CCMH. I'm Don Lintzman, your host. And as we finish up today, Sam, maybe for all of those young people who are listening today, or people who are thinking about, maybe I should change my career, maybe I should find something that I would rather do. What would you tell people about nursing and why that might be a good career choice for them, regardless of whether it's emergency room or not? But why is nursing such a great choice, and why has it been such a great choice for you?
You know, nursing is just one of the few fields that you can kind of go into anything, and that's one thing that I think is so appealing about it. You can do bedside, you could do management, you can do leadership, so it just has endless opportunities. So I think everyone can kind of find what suits them best, and I think that's something that's amazing about nursing. I would never in a million years change what I do. The opportunities are endless, and the amount of people you get to meet and impact, I think that's the greatest blessing that nursing gives you.
I also think you learn how to do paperwork because there's always a lot of that.
Yep. That's one good thing, keeps you orderly.
And I would think that probably the other part of this, even though you're getting patients who come in at the worst at the worst possible time for them, they're in the worst possible situation. I'm going to guess, just from your comments today, that your ability to care for them is what really creates the passion for you in being a nurse.
Yeah, I absolutely just love, I've always had that spot in my heart. I love caring for people, and I love at least hopefully giving them a little positive aspect of a time that just may be one of the worst moments of their life. So that always means the world to me, and our community is just so awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Well,
let me thank you for being here today, but congratulate you once again on your selection, and hopefully we can catch up after you've received your award, so that not only can I see that, but we can talk about it a little bit more.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Entirely my pleasure. My guest on the podcast today, Samantha Pauley. Samantha, an emergency room nurse here at CCMH, selected as one of 100 great Iowa nurses. I'm Don Lintzman, your host. Thank you for joining us today.